Hi guys, and happy Saturday. Today is Saturday, April 1st, and I was going to try to do a live today, but I'm not quite sure if I have this set up right. So I'm going to try again tomorrow, make sure that my tablet is completely charged up. So I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to show you what I'm trying to do to get ready for the new catalog. Okay, so I'm on my work desk today. So what has happened over the past couple months, and I do this every so often, I have all of these items that I've done on Watch It Wednesdays, Finish It Friday, and just my regular YouTubes. So what happens when I do that is I get a lot. So every couple months I try to go through my scraps that are left over and use them up as much as possible. That way I can throw away what I don't need anymore. And, well, not that I throw it away. I do. What will happen here is probably the designer series paper, which I've kind of kept on this side, I usually end up keeping, even though it's very old. The cardstock I usually get rid of. But then I also have, from taking different classes throughout the month, I've also have different card bases that I've started that don't have greetings in them. So usually I like to try to get together every once in a while and just kind of get some of that out of the way. Now, here are all my bases and my first layers, as you can see. Again, with the color revamp and the new catalog coming out, a lot of this is going to get redone. So hopefully it doesn't take a couple weekends before I get it done. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is with my designer series paper, I usually try to get it so I get the bigger pieces. And so what I do is I go like this, go like this. I take out what I find to be my biggest pieces. And those are a little bit smaller pieces, so we'll get to those. Let me go over to this stack, get out these pieces. Because what I like to do first is, I'm not going to stock that, I think that's, is that the same size? That's about the same size. So it looks like these are mostly card bases. Do I have this right? Sorry. So these are 5 1/4 by 5. Oh, 4 1/4. Sorry. Duh. I'm not used to this one. So I'm going to put it up here. See how that is? That first one is like there and the zero's there. So this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. So it's the card width, but it's not, and I'm going to put it down here just to make sure. Yep. So it's the card width, but not the card height. Now these look like these are 4 by 5 1/4. So these are actually layers. So we're going to work with these first. Let's go ahead and put this off to the side. And what I usually do is, since I have this right here by me, I'll look at both sides of the designer series paper, decide which side I like better, and then I will pick out a card base, and I'm just going to make a bunch of bases like this. Or sorry, I'm tapping over there, you can't even see. So I'm going to be making a bunch like this where I can just add greetings after a while. And usually I'll use a liquid glue on these just because I'll go through a lot of seal, but in fact I am going to grab my glue. I might have to add a new one because it's getting pretty low. So then again, I'm just making a bunch of card bases. So this I want to kind of grab, see if I can find some of that. Do I have any purplish in here? It doesn't really look like it. I have Orchid Oasis, so that's kind of close to it. So we'll go ahead and do that. Let me grab another glue. All right, so hang on one second. Oh, it's in my drawer down here. I'm like, where are my glues? So there's more glue. All right, so I should have a lot. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to move my card base over here a little bit. We're just going to start gluing these down. Liking a very fine bead right on the side. I'm not really squeezing. So then you're just making a bunch of bases. All right, so I'll continue that with all of these. I'll look at both sides. Now I made a bunch of birthday cards, so you'll see I have a bunch of different ones. So I'll usually do that first. Then I'll go to the ones that aren't actually sized down like that, and I'll decide what I want to do with that. Now, let me see if I go over here, because pale papaya, of course, is going away. So you see how that's the same across? So I may trim it down, or since I don't want to make more scraps, I'm just going to add it the way it is here. So for all of these, I'll just go ahead. And sometimes, even though this makes it messy, sometimes with these, I'll actually use the bigger end if it's not stopped up, because then I can get a lot on the side. I think this one's about dead too. A lot of dead glue around here. Oh, this one feels a little more full. There we go. So on this, because I don't want to make more scraps, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go ahead and put these down with a little bit of a border at the top and the bottom. Now this has a little bit of pink in there, so I'm going to go ahead and grab one of these. Okay. And again, we're going to go ahead and leave a little bit at the top and bottom. Like that. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do with these. These, let me see, these are also 4. These are 4 by 5. So what I can do with these is I can put them straight on. And that. See, I'm going to have a little bit more on the top than the bottom. It still doesn't look bad. So that's why I sort first my designer papers by the sizes. And then I get them all down like card strips. Then I'll go in to the actual strips that I have left. So let's go ahead and kind of organize it by strips now that we got the bigger pieces out. And we'll take out these bigger pieces too. So we've got the bigger pieces out. Now we're going for the strips. Yeah, just go like that. That's regular colored cardstock. That one's ripped. We'll put it over there. So then I'll go with my strips and I'll decide what am I going to do here. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to put them across like that. But I'll also look to see if I have in my stack over here, if I have cardstock. It's a little bit bigger piece than that I can use to also layer. And the idea behind this is if you're going to cut it, you're going to throw it away. You're not going to keep any more strips. All right, so let's go ahead. I don't know where my other cutter is, so I'll take out this one. And I'll kind of line how I want it to be, because this is a 5 1/2, so I'm gonna make it all the way 5 1/4, so I'm gonna make it all the way to 5 1/2. And this is 2 inches wide, so we're gonna make this 2 1/4. So this little strip is getting thrown away. So let's go ahead. And I'm not introducing any new strips. I'm using everything that's in here because my goal is to get rid of this by the end of the day, one way or another. If I get tired of making these, what I call base cards, because you just add a sentiment at some point. Once I get tired of making the base cards, everything else gets thrown away. And I usually do this either half, oh, I did that upside down. See that? I either do this half, right at the middle, or I'll go flush near the top because I can put jewels up here and my greeting down here. So that's what you're going to do with the strips. You're going to make strip cards. Then if you have any little small pieces like this, here's more strips. I think a lot of these are strips. Let me see if I have any smaller. All right, not a lot of smaller pieces, but anything like this, you have like here, you're going to grab cardstock that you think kind of matches to both of them, and you're going to do them down the side. Make sure you know which way it's opened. All right, so we'll go one there. So we're going to go edge in, edge in. So down here I'm going to go in. And then when I do that, I usually go about halfway from where that strip is. Oh, edge in. Oh, this is an edge here. Sorry. And we're going to go in and in. All right, so I know it's not, usually I'll use my T ruler, that way it'll be straight, but this way you can either have it that way or that way. You can even put a greeting there and then put your little embellishments there. But that's what you're going to use with any of those smaller pieces. I said, once you get to the end of all this, everything else you throw away. All right, so something like this, I'll cut down, use for a layer, and then I'll throw it away. Your goal is to get rid of the scraps you've accumulated from the month's worth of videos and create card ready to go pieces. See, that's too big. That would have been, well, you could kind of go like that. I think these would be better off just to layer it on here and then have room down here for greeting. But you're making these card bases like this, just so later all you do is put on the greeting, whether it be a birthday, thinking of you, get well soon, but you have a bunch of base cards ready to go at a moment's notice. All right, guys, so that's what I do every so often on a Saturday. Sometimes I do just strips, sometimes I do the whole case, but either way, oh, sorry, let me get back up here. So either way, you're getting rid of some of that paper that you've cut up and used throughout the month, or in this case, 2 months. Now, if you're the type of person that actually throws it away every week or right after you make the card, more power to you. I go through a lot of cardstock, and I always feel like if not putting it on cards, it's great to go through this and go ahead and go through and do a bunch of punches or a bunch of die cuts. All right, guys, thanks for dropping in on a Saturday, and we'll talk to you soon.